If you think one small mistake won't hurt your automatic car, unfortunately you would be wrong. Hidden faults can silently destroy your transmission and engine, leaving you with costly repairs. From how you stop at a red light to unknowingly sabotaging your engine in winter, these car killers are everywhere. Stick around to uncover these shocking mistakes and learn how to avoid a repair bill that could leave you speechless. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this crucial info. The red light heat trap. You're sitting at a red light, hands on the wheel, foot on the brake, car idling in drive. Seems harmless, right? Wrong. While it might feel natural to keep your car in drive while waiting, you could unknowingly be putting your transmission at risk. When your automatic vehicle is in drive, even while stationary, the torque converter, the unsung hero of your transmission, is still hard at work. The torque converter is designed to transfer engine power to the transmission, ensuring smooth gear shifts and operation. However, when your car sits idling in drive, it continues generating heat without the airflow needed to cool it down. Over time, this heat buildup can become a silent destroyer, weakening internal components and causing premature wear. On particularly hot days, the temperature inside your transmission can skyrocket by over 50 degrees Fahrenheit in mere minutes, pushing it past its safe operating limits. Eventually, this wear leads to a cascade of problems, from slipping gears to complete transmission failure. All this because of a seemingly innocent habit. The fix is simple. Shift into neutral. By doing so, you reduce the load on the torque converter, allowing fluids to circulate more freely and temperatures to stabilize. It's a minor adjustment that can save you from a major repair bill. The danger of forgetting the handbrake. You park your car on a hill, shift into park, and walk away without a second thought. But did you know relying solely on your vehicle's parking gear could lead to disaster? The parking mechanism inside your transmission, known as the locking pin, is designed to hold your car in place, but it was never meant to bear the full weight of the vehicle, especially on an incline. When you park on a hill without engaging the handbrake, all that force is concentrated on a single small component. Over time, this strain can weaken the locking pin, making it less reliable. Worse yet, if the pin fails under pressure, your car could roll downhill, causing damage, injury, or worse. Using the handbrake, also called the emergency brake, isn't just for emergencies. It's a vital part of your car's parking system, designed to take the load off the transmission and provide an extra layer of safety. Always engage it, whether you're on a steep incline or a flat driveway. A few extra seconds of effort can save you from a potential catastrophe. Remember, the handbrake and parking gear work best as a team. Together, they ensure your car stays put, reducing wear on internal components and keeping you, your car, and others safe. The idle mistake. We've all done it, sat in the car with the engine running while waiting for someone or keeping the heater or air conditioner going. But prolonged idling, especially in drive, is more harmful than most people realize. When your car idles in drive, it puts unnecessary stress on both the engine and the transmission. For starters, the engine continues to burn fuel inefficiently, and the transmission remains engaged, circulating hydraulic fluid that doesn't need to work. This creates wear and tear on internal components that aren't designed for prolonged use in these conditions. The problem becomes even worse in cold weather. Cold temperatures thicken engine oil and transmission fluid, making them less effective at lubricating parts. When you let your car idle excessively in drive during winter, the cold, sluggish fluids can lead to increased friction and stress on components like the torque converter and internal gear. What's the solution? If you're going to wait for an extended period, shift into neutral or park, or better yet, turn off the engine. Modern cars are designed to restart efficiently, and the fuel used during a restart is negligible compared to the waste caused by prolonged idling. Not only does this save wear on your vehicle, but it also reduces unnecessary emissions, making it a win for both your car and the environment. Overconfident downhill coasting. Picture this. You're cruising down a steep hill, shift your car into neutral, and let gravity do the work. It seems like a clever way to save fuel, but it's actually one of the worst things you can do to your vehicle. First, modern cars are built with fuel-saving technologies that automatically cut fuel supply when you're coasting in gear. This means that shifting into neutral provides no additional benefit. In fact, it can lead to higher fuel consumption as your engine idles. But the real danger lies in control. When your car is in neutral, you lose the ability to use engine braking, a feature that reduces strain on your brakes by letting the engine help slow the car. Without this support, your brakes have to work harder, heating up quickly and wearing out faster. This increased brake wear can lead to diminished performance when you need it most, such as during an emergency stop. And speaking of emergencies, coasting in neutral drastically reduces your reaction time. Need to accelerate quickly to avoid an obstacle? Too bad. You'll first have to shift back into drive, a delay that could make all the difference. The bottom line? Stay in gear, even on downhill stretches. Your car's systems are designed to work together to optimize safety, performance, and efficiency. Coasting in neutral might feel like you're outsmarting your car, but in reality, you're putting yourself and your vehicle at unnecessary risk. The silent transmission killer. What's red, sticky, and could save you thousands of dollars? Transmission fluid. It may not be glamorous, but this unassuming liquid plays a crucial role in keeping your automatic car running smoothly. Transmission fluid is the lifeblood of your car's transmission system, reducing friction between metal parts and preventing dangerous overheating. Here's the problem. Many drivers buy into the myth that transmission fluid lasts forever. This couldn't be further from the truth. Over time, heat and friction degrade the fluid, reducing its effectiveness. Left unchecked, old fluid leads to increased friction, overheating, and wear on vital components. These issues escalate rapidly, eventually causing catastrophic transmission failure. What can you do? It's simple. Check and change your transmission fluid regularly. A good rule of thumb is every 50,000 miles, or as recommended by your car's manufacturer. Always inspect the fluid's condition. Healthy transmission fluid is bright red and nearly odorless. If it's brown or smells burnt, it's time for a replacement. Skipping this routine check might save a few dollars now, but it could cost you a fortune later. Dashboard warning ignorance. Your car's dashboard isn't just for decoration, it's a lifeline of communication between you and your vehicle. Those little lights flashing and glowing might seem like minor annoyances, but ignoring them could lead to major problems. One of the most critical warnings is the transmission temperature light. This signal doesn't just flicker for fun, it's your car's way of screaming for help. Overheating can happen for various reasons, from low fluid levels to blocked cooling systems. If you ignore this light, you risk causing irreversible damage to your transmission. And it's not just the transmission temperature warning. Ignoring the check engine light, oil pressure alerts, or even the battery warning can snowball into much larger issues. Imagine this scenario. You see the transmission temperature light blink on your dashboard during a long drive. You shrug it off, thinking it's nothing urgent. A few weeks later, your car starts slipping gears or refusing to shift altogether. By this point, the damage is done, and you're looking at a repair bill that could rival a down payment on a new car. The solution? Pay attention to your dashboard. If a warning light appears, don't delay. Address it immediately. Sometimes it's a quick fix like topping off fluids, but other times it might require professional attention. Either way, these lights are not suggestions. They are your car begging for help. Snow panic syndrome. Winter brings its own set of challenges for drivers, but few are as damaging as what we'll call snow panic syndrome. Picture this: you're stuck in a snowy parking lot or icy driveway. Frustrated and late for work, you rev the engine hard, spinning the wheels in a desperate attempt to break free. While this might feel like the only solution, it's actually one of the worst things you can do to your car. Revving the engine and forcing the transmission to work overtime in these conditions creates extreme stress on internal components. The result? Rapid overheating, worn out gears, and in worst cases, complete transmission failure. So what should you do instead? First, avoid panic. Gently shift into reverse and try rocking the car back and forth with controlled movements. If that doesn't work, reach for a bag of non-clumping cat litter, sand, or even an old carpet scrap to create traction for your tires. Spreading these materials around your wheels can provide the grip needed to escape icy conditions without overworking your car. Investing in snow tires or traction boards is another smart move for snowy regions. The summer scorcher mistake. It's a scorching summer afternoon and you park your car under the blazing sun, thinking nothing of it. After all, it's just a little heat, right? Wrong. Direct sunlight is one of the most underestimated threats to your car's longevity. When your car sits in the sun for extended periods, the heat doesn't just make the interior unbearably hot, it also wreaks havoc under the hood. Transmission fluid, already prone to degradation from use, breaks down even faster in high temperatures. Over time, this weakens its ability to protect the transmission's moving parts. Additionally, seals and gaskets become brittle, leading to leaks that could spell disaster for your vehicle. But it doesn't stop there. The sun's ultraviolet rays also damage your car's exterior, fading paint and drying out the rubber on your tires. The result? Cracks that compromise tire safety and appearance. The stop and shift shortcut. Ever shifted your car into park before it's come to a complete stop? It's a common habit. You're in a rush, the car's slowing down, so why not shift into park? It seems harmless, right? But here's the reality. That P you casually engage is connected to a critical component called the parking pole. This small but mighty metal pin locks into place to prevent your car from rolling when parked. However, there's a catch. It's not designed to halt a moving vehicle. When you shift into park while your car is still rolling, the parking pole is forced to engage with spinning components inside the transmission. This sudden interaction causes immense stress on the system, often leading to grinding noises as it struggles to catch. These sounds are a clear sign of internal wear and damage. It's essentially like asking your parking pole to do something it wasn't built to handle, causing unnecessary strain on the entire locking mechanism. Over time, this habit can lead to the weakening or even snapping of the parking pole entirely. If the pole breaks, your car's parking function could fail completely. Imagine leaving your car parked on a slope, only to turn around and find it rolling away moments later. Sound dramatic? It's a real possibility, and it could happen more easily than you think. But it's not just the parking pole that suffers from this mistake. The locking pin and output shaft, key components that help secure your car in place, are also at risk when you engage park while the car is still moving. These parts aren't invincible, and over time, the repeated strain can cause further damage that might cost you a fortune to repair. So, what's the solution? Avoid the shortcut and always let your car come to a complete stop before shifting into park. It might seem like an unnecessary delay, but this small step can save you from a major headache down the road. By taking that extra moment to stop fully, you'll prevent damage to your parking pole as well as to the locking pin and output shaft. Trust us, it's worth it. The need for speed fallacy. We've all been there, stuck at a stoplight, watching the green light and itching to floor the gas pedal. Launching your car from a standstill might feel thrilling, like you're a professional racer speeding off the starting line. But what your car feels is far less exciting. It feels stress. When you stomp on the accelerator, your engine and transmission are forced to work overtime to transfer power to the wheels, and this sudden surge puts immense strain on critical components like the engine mounts, suspension bushings, and, most importantly, the transmission itself. Modern cars are built to handle occasional bursts of speed, but make this a regular habit and the damage starts to add up. The constant stress causes components to wear out faster than they should. Engine mounts, suspension parts, and transmission components all take a beating from rapid acceleration. Over time, this can lead to a cascade of costly repairs that could have easily been avoided. What's worse, this aggressive driving style is incredibly inefficient. You'll burn through fuel at an alarming rate, wasting money and contributing to unnecessary pollution. Sure, the thrill of a hard launch is tempting, especially when you're in a hurry or feeling like the road is your racetrack. But when you make this a habit, the long-term cost becomes painfully clear. Your car isn't just taking a hit mechanically, it's also draining your wallet with every unnecessary burst of speed. A false start habit. Turning off your car before shifting into park might seem like no big deal. After all, many newer cars won't even let you remove the key unless you're in the correct gear. But just because the car prevents you from making an obvious mistake doesn't mean damage isn't happening behind the scenes. When you turn off the car in any gear other than park, the input shaft, responsible for connecting the engine to the transmission, becomes misaligned. This misalignment may seem like a trivial issue at first, but over time, it can disrupt the smooth operation of the torque converter, the component that allows your car to switch gears seamlessly. This small act of turning off the ignition while the car is still in gear puts additional strain on the transmission, causing internal components to work harder than they need to. The torque converter, which functions as a bridge between the engine and the transmission, is designed to work efficiently only when everything is properly aligned. Shutting off the engine before shifting into park prevents this alignment, and this constant misalignment can cause premature wear, increasing the likelihood of malfunctions or failure down the line. The next time you're in a rush or distracted, resist the temptation to skip the step of shifting into park first. It might feel like an insignificant action, but it could save you thousands of dollars in repairs. It's a simple habit to break, but it's worth it. Always shift into park before turning off the ignition. By doing so, you'll help preserve the integrity of your transmission system and avoid costly repairs caused by misalignment. A few extra seconds spent on this step will extend the life of your car's vital components and save you from the headache of unnecessary repairs. Puddle roulette. It's raining, the streets are flooded, and you're tempted to drive through that deceptively shallow-looking puddle. You may think it's just a puddle. What could it possibly do? Here's the kicker. That innocent splash could destroy your transmission. Why? Most cars have ventilation openings in their transmission systems to release internal pressure. While these vents are necessary for proper operation, they also present a major vulnerability when exposed to water. When water enters these vents, it mixes with the transmission fluid, creating a milky, sludgy mess. This mixture destroys the adhesive properties of the fluid, which are essential for holding the clutch packs together. As a result, the clutch packs begin to degrade rapidly, causing them to wear down and fail. In severe cases, this contamination can cause the transmission to fail entirely, often within just hours of water exposure. The risk is particularly high when the water level rises above the position of the vents, which are typically located low on the car. For most vehicles, this means that even seemingly shallow puddles can cause irreparable damage to the transmission. While four-wheel drive and off-road vehicles often have higher vents that reduce the likelihood of water intrusion, standard automatic cars are much more vulnerable. So what should you do when faced with flooded streets? Don't take the gamble. If you see a puddle or flooded area, take a detour or wait for the water to recede. It's not worth risking thousands of dollars in repairs just to save a few minutes. Keep in mind that water and transmission fluid don't mix, ever. Be cautious, stay safe, and avoid playing puddle roulette. The gear stick lean. You've probably done it countless times, resting your hand on the gear selector as you drive. It might seem harmless, even comfortable, but this simple habit could be putting unnecessary strain on your transmission. The gear stick is more than just a lever you use to change gears. It is an integral part of your car's transmission system, with internal components that need to stay in alignment to function properly. When you rest your hand on it, you apply constant pressure that could shift those delicate internal parts just enough to cause wear over time. This pressure might seem minimal at first, but it builds up over time, slowly damaging the transmission components, especially the linkage and the shift mechanism. Over time, this extra force wears out the precision of the gears and can lead to irregular shifting, making your car feel less responsive and possibly leading to costly repairs. In the long run, this small habit can cause a transmission failure that could cost thousands of dollars to fix, far outweighing the comfort of resting your hand on the gear stick. Here's the kicker. Many people don't even realize they're doing it. It's an automatic action that seems so natural, but it's one that can have a huge impact on your car's longevity. The simple fix? Keep your hands off the gear selector when you're not changing gears. You'll not only protect your transmission, but you'll also develop better driving habits that will help keep your car running smoothly for longer. Winter fluid blunders. Winter can be a tough season for your car, especially for automatic transmissions. Cold temperatures can thicken your transmission fluid, causing it to flow less freely through the system. This can result in sluggish shifting and delayed responses, putting additional strain on the transmission as it tries to operate with less lubrication. The transmission fluid in your car is responsible for cooling and lubricating many of its internal components, so when it becomes too thick to circulate properly, you're increasing the risk of damage to the system. And to avoid this, always allow your car a few moments to warm up in cold weather before hitting the road. By letting the fluid warm up and circulate smoothly, you help ensure that it provides adequate lubrication, reducing friction and wear on the transmission. A cold engine and transmission system are especially hard on your car's performance, and failing to give it that brief warm-up can lead to long-term issues. This is especially true during the winter months when the low temperatures make everything work harder. Transmission fluid is designed to operate within a specific temperature range, and when it's too cold, it doesn't flow properly. You might not notice it immediately, but repeated cold starts without warming up the fluid can cause premature wear on your transmission. So give your car a break, let it warm up for a minute or two before you drive off. This will not only help your transmission, but will also prevent unnecessary engine strain and improve fuel efficiency. The quick reverse gambit. Shifting from drive to reverse while your car is still moving might seem like a quick way to get into a parking spot or back up fast, but it's a habit that can wreak havoc on your transmission. Most people don't realize the immense strain this puts on the transmission system. Your car's transmission is designed to engage specific gears when the vehicle is at a complete stop. Shifting between gears while moving, especially from drive to reverse, can cause misalignment and damage to the internal components. When you shift into reverse while still moving forward, you're forcing the transmission transmission to operate against its natural flow. The internal components, like the clutch plates and the planetary gears, are not designed to handle this abrupt transition, which can lead to premature wear and ultimately failure. While modern cars have safeguards to prevent this from happening in newer models, older vehicles are particularly vulnerable to this kind of stress. The result? You could end up with a costly repair bill just because you were in a rush to get into reverse. It might seem like a harmless habit, but continuously shifting from drive to reverse without coming to a full stop can cause significant damage over time. Not only does this stress the transmission, but it can also lead to other issues like overheating and fluid breakdown, which further exacerbate the situation. So slow down, take the time to come to a complete stop before shifting gears, and protect your transmission from unnecessary strain. It might seem like a small thing, but it can save you thousands of dollars in repairs. Fuel tank neglect. Running your car on empty may seem like an easy way to avoid making frequent trips to the gas station, but it's a habit that can destroy your fuel system. Your fuel pump relies on the gasoline in the tank to stay cool and to help push fuel to the engine. When you let your fuel level drop too low, the fuel pump starts to overheat because it no longer has enough fuel to keep it cool. This can shorten the lifespan of the pump and eventually lead to failure. In addition to this, running low on fuel stirs up any dirt or sediment that has settled at the bottom of the tank. This debris can clog your fuel filter and disrupt the fuel system's performance, leading to poor engine performance and even damage to other components. In the worst case scenario, running low on fuel repeatedly can lead to complete fuel pump failure, which is a costly repair. But the effects aren't limited to just the fuel pump. Contaminated fuel can also affect the injectors and the engine itself, making it harder for your car to run efficiently. The solution is simple. Keep your fuel tank at least a quarter full at all times. This not only helps protect your fuel pump and other components, but also ensures that your car runs more efficiently, giving you better fuel economy and a longer lasting engine. Running your car on empty is one of those habits that seems harmless, but it's one of the biggest culprits behind unnecessary repairs. You might save a few minutes by putting off a trip to the gas station, but it's not worth the long-term damage. The next time you notice your fuel gauge is getting low, make it a point to fill up. Your car will thank you for it, but it will thank you even more, plus live longer, if you do avoid all of these mistakes. Tell me which one of these have done before. Let's know in the comments.